YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of D's Corner. Today I have a one round mock draft 2026. I'm going to throw in some trades here. I'm going to try to knock this out as quick as possible. So we're going to jump right into it. The number one overall pick, we know that where this is going. Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders. They've beefed up this offense. They tried to trade Max Crosby, got rescinded. Now they may actually be even better on defense with him and the moves that they made. Fernando Mendoza pick doesn't change. Now, pick number 2, this is where the draft starts for everybody. I think there is literally a case for Arvell Reese, Jeremiah Loves. Well, probably not Jeremiah Love since they tagged Breece Hall, but Sonny Styles. You can go Ruben Bain, go David Bailey. You literally can go a number of places here for the Jets. I'm going to give them Arvell Reese in this mock. I think with what they have with Demario Davis and bringing in Minkah Fitzpatrick on that back end, Demario can kind of bring Reese along on the inside linebacker stuff, allow him to kind of rush situationally and kind of grow and develop his pass rush repertoire. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals, another team that kind of can go anywhere. You're going to want to continue to beef up this offensive line. We do not know who our quarterback is going to be yet. They went running back in free agency. There's no – you could go Jeremiah Love here, but you're also bringing back James Conner. That's probably too many bodies at the running back position. I'm going to go David Bailey. We're going to continue to beef up that defense and that pass rush. Here, the Tennessee Titans. You beefed up your offensive line throughout the draft, throughout recent drafts. You got in the new head coach. You brought in a few weapons. You're going to want to run the ball. Could still possibly cut Tony Pollard. I am going to give them Jeremiah Love. I think in a conference that has now David Montgomery, you go against Jonathan Taylor. You're going to want you an all-star type of back. Here you have the New York Giants at 5. They could go Sonny Styles, but they just brought in Tremont Edmonds. I am going to go. I still really want to give them Sonny Styles. I really do. But I think Francis Manoa, he could play tackle. He could play guard. They did try to revamp, like I said, this offensive line. I'm going to give Manoa to the Giants. Now we're on the clock with the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland needs offensive tackle. Their whole offensive line has been overhauled. It's been refurbished. They're going to put the final touch on with Monroe Freeland. Fano is probably a better prospect, but his short arms gives him issues, so could possibly be moved inside. Freeland, I think, finalizes the Browns offensive line for whoever their quarterback is going to be. The Washington Commanders are on the clock at 7. I think they did a lot on the edge, big money on the edge, bringing in Leo Chenal to pair with Frank Louvu is a crazy defensive front seven, especially with the linebackers and the edge. I think they're going to want to continue to beef up that front. I'm going to give them Ruben Bain Jr. I can see him going offensive line. I can see him going wide receiver as well. I'm going to give him Ruben. The Saints, I want to go here. I also want to give them another wide receiver to kind of complete this offense. They brought in Travis Etienne from from Jacksonville. I'm sorry. I'm going to give them Sonny Styles. They're going to go Sonny Styles. He's going to replace Demario Davis. I know they got Ellis from the Falcons, but I still think you want to add to that defense. Now, on the clock now, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. Where are the Chiefs going to go? They can go a number of directions. They want to continue to beef up their offensive line. I don't think they'll do that here. Could they go Caleb Downs? Absolutely. Could they go Carnell Tate? Absolutely. There are a number of directions in which they can go. I am going to go I'm gonna give him Mansour Delane. I think they traded away Trent McDuffie. You lost uh Jalen Watson, Joshua Williams. You also lost Brian Cooks in that secondary. You got to replenish it on the back end. They don't typically sign here. They don't typically draft at this position high. L'Jarius Sneed just got released, could possibly be on his way back. So there's a number of ways to skin this fish, but I'm gonna give him Delane, like I said. The Cincinnati Bengals, I'm gonna go here. I want to give them more pass protection for Joe Burrow. You're gonna have Trey Hendrickson, and you have to go up against Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. Now, twice a year, I would want them to protect them, but they have got to continue to beef up this defense. And I think Caleb Downs does not get out of the top 10. So I'm going to give him Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State. Here, there's a number of directions the Miami Dolphins could go here. They have their quarterback. They have Jalen Waddle. You could definitely go anywhere on this defense. But I think we're going to continue to try to do our best to build around our new quarterback in Malik Willis, and we're going to go with Kenyon Sadiq, the tight end out of Oregon, who is a freak show. Help Willis along as easy and as much as possible. The Dallas Cowboys here, I want to give them Dylan Thinman, but I don't think I'm going to go that route with them. They could also go linebacker here. Let's see. What corners do we still have? Could they go Jamad McCoy? Yes, but he hasn't, up to this point, he hasn't participated in anything. He himself at the combine said he wasn't fully healthy. Let's see. Could also trade down here because the Cowboys know they actually did acquire a third-round pick. Yeah, let's go Dylan Thinman. They're going to need some turnovers on that back end. Thinman can get his hands on the football. He's athletic and can do a lot. Here we have the LA Rams. I am going to make a trade for that. Everyone's talking about it. This came up, so we're going to do it now and see what it looks like. Man, where they at? We're going to come. We're going to go get A.J. Brown in the 4th, and we're going to give up that 13th pick. Let's see if it works here. Now the Rams now have a solid young defense. They have Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and now A.J. Brown to truly utilize Matt Stafford's last window. There's talks of this being, especially if they go out on top, McVay and Stafford's last year. So that's the route we're going to go here. And this only helps the Philadelphia Eagles with everything that they have and everything that they need. Let's check out the edge. Could they go Akeem Mesidor, Keldrick Faulk, Cassius Howe, but they also now have a second first-round pick due to this trade. And I'm going to give them Jamad McCoy. They're going to go corner Jamad McCoy. They've brought in Rick Woolen from Seattle on a one-year deal. Even if this pick pans out and McCoy is able to get back to who he was in 2024, this secondary is going to truly be elite. Couple that with that young front seven, and the Eagles are still looking to continue to chug along and be one of the dominant teams. Here I'm going to go Spencer Fano. I don't expect Fano to fall this far, but they could play him at center. The Ravens just lost Tyler Linderbaum. They're going to go Spencer Fano. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are in need. They need weapons now. They need linebackers. I could see CJ Allen. Caleb Banks here. Caleb Banks had surgery, broke a bone in his foot at the combine. He had foot issues last season and kind of rushed back. Let's see what kind of trades could they make any trades here? Could anyone want to move up? But you know what? I don't expect this to happen, but we're gonna go Carnell Tate. He fell to 15. Pair him with his teammate from last season, Mecca Buka. Baker Mayfield, you have to replace Mike Evans. So that's the route they're going to take. Here we have the New York Jets who are back on the clock. We took Arvell Reese early on. You could go Makai Lemon here. Do you want to continue to beef up this line? I'm going to give him Makai Lemon. Really good physical wide receiver. Could blend well. You got Geno now. Want to build around him and keep things going for him. The Lions, I think the Lions are going to want to go offensive line, especially after the release of Taylor Decker. Could possibly go Caden Proctor here. They may move Penei Sewell over to the left side. Beefed up your offensive line. Free agency. You did lose Alec Anzalone. Could you pair C.J. Allen with Jack Campbell? I think this could be a good pickup. Does this position go this high? There's a lot of questions here, but you can also go edge, pairing someone. You lost Muhammad. I'm going to give them Akeem Mesidor. We're going to pair Mesidor with Aiden Hutchinson. Now we have the Minnesota Vikings on the clock at 18. They could go a number of directions. They now have Kyler Murray. They have their running back. Their quarterback. They have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkins. They have a solid offensive line. Ryan Kelly did retire this year, but they're going to have to go back and beef up their defense, losing or actually being forced to release two of their defensive tackles. Caleb Banks, could he go here? Yes. How far does he fall with the foot injury is another question there. I want to give them a safety as well, but you know what? I think we're going to go Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, you have a retiring Harrison Smith, big body. I think this is a player that Brian Flores will definitely be able to do something with here. The Carolina Panthers are going to be a best player available type team. I think they could even trade back. Let's see, who do we have back here who could possibly want to trade up, who has the picks to trade up. You know what I think we're going to – this team is needed. Offensive line. They traded and got more picks. Let's see if we can give them a 69. Let's see if this works. So the Houston Texans, they're going to trade up and they're going to draft Vega Ione out of Penn State, continuing to beef up this offensive line. This is a hell of a defense. They got a nice rushing attack now. They have good weapons. Their offensive line has struggled. Maybe that is why CJ Stroud has struggled, but now we're going to try to take as much off of his plate and as much pressure off of him as possible. And we're going to run the ball. We're going to play good defense down in Houston. Here you have the Dallas Cowboys. They're back on the clock after going Dylan Thiemann, the safety out of Oregon, with their first pick. Here you can go a number of directions. I think they may want to still continue to beef up their secondary. Avion Terrell, he could be a really good sticky man cover corner. He can get beat. He doesn't tackle the best. Do they want to continue to beef up this pass rush? They could go offense, continue to give Dak weapons. I don't think that's the route they'll go. You can go CJ Allen here too for them. But they're going to have Overshown coming back. I think you can get linebacker later on in the draft. We're going to give them Avion last year. Now we have the Pittsburgh Steelers are on the clock. Again, number of directions this team can go. They already have traded for Michael Pittman Jr. had a good, solid free agency week 1. So I think we're gonna give them Blake Miller. That allows them to move their last year's Fanu into guard, kind of beef up that offensive line. They could go quarterback. I don't think Ty Simpson is going to be an early first round pick. Maybe in those last few selections, maybe someone trades up for him. It's just my personal opinion. I just don't think it's going to go that way for him. Now we have on the clock the LA Chargers. Offensive line, defensive line. They could use a safety. I think they need more weapons here. Jordan Tyson falls to him. We're going to give Jordan Tyson. Justin Herbert needs continued weapons. I could see him trading for Brian Thomas Jr. or even A.J. Brown as well, giving Herbert a true number one. You got solid tight end. You have McConkey. Should have a good rushing attack. You know you're going to have a good defense. So you're going to have to keep things going out there and with the Chargers. Philadelphia is back on the clock after going Jamal McCoy. They are going to go Cassius Howe. He's the edge rusher out of Texas A&M. I think he'll fit nicely in Fangio's offense. The first pick, the Cleveland Browns, they have gone with Monroe Freeland. Now at 24, they are on the clock. Gonna have to get some weapons. They tried to beef up this offensive line. The defense should still be solid. We don't know what direction they're going to go after after Schwartz steps down, which is understandable. I think we're going to give them Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver out of Indiana, good run after catch. Whoever the quarterback is going to be, we're going to want to get him the ball, get the ball out of his hands fast. Quick passes, run the ball, play good defense. Cleveland's still so far away before they're able to truly beat anything. Now we have the Chicago Bears are on the clock. Caleb Banks has fallen here. I think they have the bodies to allow him to recover from his injury. This would be a great defense if he's able to get going, stay healthy, stay motivated, and actually put the work into what his potential is. He could be a dominant defensive lineman in the league. All right. Now we have on the clock the Buffalo Bills, who can go offensive line, defensive line. I think they need a safety as well. Maybe we're going to make a trade here. We're going to go. The Arizona Cardinals are going to try to move on up. Let's see. And they're going to give up their second round pick along with Budda Baker and see if we can get this 26th overall pick. I think Budda Baker deserves to be on a winning team. I think for what Buffalo has done so far in free agency, adding Budda Baker to that back end, you still have Maxwell Hairston, you have Christian Benton or whatever his last name is. They just picked up Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They are going to need some linebacking help. Now they just got an early second round pick. I think this is a good move for the Cardinals. We are going to the Arizona Cardinals. They are going to move on up, and they're going to go Tyson. I think they allowed him the year to sit behind Jacoby Brissett. You're going to have Trey McBride. You're going to have Marvin Harrison Jr. You're going to have an offensive-minded head coach moving forward. A good pro to learn from. Ty's main issue is he didn't have a lot of games, just like we've seen quarterbacks have before. He got hurt. The team got hurt. Didn't really have a good rushing attack, but first couple games, first 6, 7, 8 weeks of the season, he was looking like a really good quarterback. So maybe Arizona is banking on that. We have the San Francisco 49ers who are going to have to go offensive tackle. They need to have somebody in the wake of Trent Williams either retiring or being traded, depending on how the contract goes. I'm going to give them Caden Proctor, the Alabama tackle. Now we have the Carolina Panthers, who are back on the clock. They got Jalen Phillips. We're going to continue to go at that defensive line, and I'm going to give them Keldrick Faulk, the big young edge rusher out of Auburn. I think he can play a ton of different positions up and down that defensive line. I think this will be a really good pickup. The Chiefs are back on the clock. The Chiefs want Mansour Delane early on. They're going to need offensive line. They're going to need some defensive line. You want to get help next to Chris Jones. We're also going to eventually need to replace Chris Jones, who is getting up there in age. Let's see if there's anyone. Could they continue to add to the secondary? Colton Hood, possibly, but we're going to give them. I'm going to give them Peter Woods, the defensive tackle from Clemson. I think this is a really good pickup, being able to play him next to Chris Jones early on. You still have Nick Bolton behind that defensive front. You still have Jim Schwartz able to do a lot. Peter Woods would be a good pickup for him. The the Denver Broncos, they need linebacker help. CJ Allen is literally right here waiting on them. That's the route that we're going to go. Now you have the New England Patriots. This is a team that could trade down. Again, this is a team that could possibly trade for A.J. Brown. They could possibly trade for Brian Thomas Jr. They could just draft another wide receiver here. I am going to give them edge. I am going to give them Zion Young, edge out of Missouri. I think he's still able to be a first-round pick. He is a really, really good player. I think he kind of started to go downhill. He's still a really, really, really good player. His play dip, then he ran the 10-yard split. He didn't run a full 40 or something. It's just speed issue, things like that. Speed and productivity issues have become more and more red flags. But again, this is draft season. They're going to bash some of the prospects just to get them to fall possibly to where they're at. All right, now we have the Seattle Seahawks, the Super Bowl winning Seattle Seahawks. Where can they go here? They did release, or they did not retain, Kenneth Walker. They lost some players in the secondary, Kobe Bryant, Reek Wilson. Could they go back to that well? I think they do, and I'm going to keep giving them this pick, but I think it just makes perfect sense for them. Is corner Colton Hood out of Tennessee. So that is my full first round mock draft. I think I had 2 trades in there. I'm going to try to do another one here soon and maybe try to go trade crazy. We know there's usually not always a lot of trades, but again, got it here. Fernando Mendoza, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Jeremiah Love, Francis Mauigoa, Monroe Freeland, Ruben Bain, Sonny Styles, Mansour Delane, Caleb Downs, Kenyon Sadiq. It's all right there. You guys can read it if you want. But guys, hey, I appreciate it. That's the end. Tell me who you think your team should draft. Tell me who you think if your team should make a trade, or if so, what players should they trade for? What other players do you think could be traded, guys? I really, really, really appreciate it. You guys just have a good one. I'll see y'all this week.